Hello everybody, and today I'm going to build the shoulder of my Vex Clawbot. And you can find the instructions again on Vex Clawbot instructions. You just type that into Google and you should be able to search it out. So now what I'm going to do, this is what I'm trying to build today. So I have this build up here ready to go, but I'm going to build my 2 by 1 by 15 rails here, and I'm just going to set it up like this. I'll put the gears and everything on that later, but this is what I'm working on today. So the first thing I'm going to do is delete everything that I was working on. So I'm going to delete that and show you how to place everything and do everything step by step. So the first thing that I'm going to place is my angle, which angles can be found in your project folder. You go to metal, double click on metal, you go to angles, double click on angles, and I'm going to use the 2 by 2 by 20, which we created earlier on in the class, and I hope to put together a video on how to create that later. So I'm going to open up the 2 by 2 by 20, select that, put that out on the field, and now I'm going to show a front view of this. I'm going to click on that bar, push down on G, and just rotate it because I like that view a little bit better. And sorry, I'm talking fast, but I don't have very much time to work on this video, so let me continue here. So I'm going to right click on this part and I'm going to ground this part so that it doesn't move when I attach other parts to it. The next thing I'm going to place are my C channels. So actually, I'm just going to place one C channel, demote it, and then copy and paste it over to the other side. So that's a 1 by 2 by 1 by 15 that I am going to use. I think it's 1 by 1 by 15. Yes, 1 by 2 by 1 by 15. So I'm going to open that part up, click, and you'll notice that I've already gotten rid of some of the eye mates, and I've also placed the surface bodies or made the surface bodies visible. That's what I'm going to use to constrain these parts, is I'm using the surface bodies. And again, I'll have to show you that in another video on how to get rid of the eye mates and use the surface bodies instead. I just find them more useful. So I'm going to place this bar. I'm going to place it 8 holes in. According to the PDF that I found, it was 8 holes in on this side and 7 holes in on this side is where we're placing our upright bars. So the first thing I'm going to do is place this. I'm going to push down on C or click on constraint. I'm going to use C to save on time here. So I'm going to push insert constraint. I'm going to use this hole right, or this surface right here. So I want this surface, not the inside surface. So I'm going to use this surface body that's set right, or set equal to this face here. So now I'm going to place this surface body right up against the, I said 8 holes down. So 8 holes on not this side, but the outside of this angle here. And what that does is that'll place that bar right there. So if I zoom in, you can see these two holes are so close together, or these two circles are so close together. Now I need to place this next one. So I'm going to hit apply and exit this and then turn this body up. And this is grounded, so it's not moving. Now I'm just going to give it a little bit of an angle there so that I can see which holes that I am constraining to. I keep calling them holes, they should be circles. So I'm going to see which circles I'm constraining to. I'm going to constrain to this one and this one right here. See the arrow pointing in towards me, and I have another arrow pointing away from me. So I'm going to constrain those two arrows, and I'm going to hit apply. And that locks this C channel into place for me. So now I have my upright C channel, and then I have my angle right there. Now I need to place my bearings, my bearing flats. So I need 2 of those. So I'm going to place 2 bearing flats. And where are those at? So I'm going to go to, they're not in metal, they're in my project folder, other parts. And let's look for the bearing flats. So the bearing flat should be in B's. So A, B, we have our bearing flat right there. I'm going to use my bearing flat with no eye mates, and I'm going to open that up and place 2 of those. Okay, so now I'm going to constrain my bearing flats right at the top here, one right above the other, right in the center holes right here. So the first one I'm going to do Right now, I'm going to click on constrain. I'm going to do an insert constraint. I'm going to zoom really close into this one. I want this top one here. And notice which side of the bearing flat I'm on. I'm in this side. I want these little kind of ledges here to sit inside the squares on the C channel here. So I'm going to click on this end of the C channel, hit apply, and exit that. Rotate this up. And again, I'm going to get the inside of this bearing flat right here, constrain, do another insert constraint on the inside of this one. Notice that I avoid the tops of these here. So notice where that circle is. It is on the inside right there. And I'm going to constrain that to the outside of this surface here. And now we have our first bearing flat on. So we have our first bearing flat on. It's pointing towards the center. We're going to put motors and everything on that other side. So we need that space there. So next one, I'm going to hit apply here. I'm going to do another constraint. Again, we're going to do the same thing except apply this bearing flat right below the other. So I'm going to apply that one right here. Hit apply, rotate this out, and then I'm going to do the next. Oops, I accidentally clicked on this surface. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to go to selections and click on one again, and that removes that selection. So now I'm going to select my first selection again, right here. And then I'm going to place that on the outside surface body right here and hit apply. Now I have my two bearings sitting equally on my C channel right here. So I'm going to pause the video for a second and look at my instructions and see what else I need. All right, I'm back. I'm going to place 3 screws and nuts into these bearings here, and I'm going to use 3 here. So I'm going to exit this first. I'm going to zoom in. I already have my bearing nut assemblies that I've demoted earlier on, so I'm going to use those instead of constraining the nuts individually. So I'm going to place those. So I placed those in my screws and nuts, and it is an assembly. It's screw nut bearing chassis assembly. I like those longer names because they help me to identify which ones I'm doing. Because I'm going through the bearing and the chassis, or the bearing and the C channel, that should be there should be a good distance here, or a good enough distance that is able to be constrained through that part. So I'm going to open that one, and it looks like from my instructions here that I need 3 of those. So I'm going to place 3 of those. 1, 2, and 3. And I kind of want them this direction too, because my motor, well, I may want them this direction or I may want them the other way. I have my gears coming out this side, and I have my motors coming out the opposite side. And again, I'm going to demote this part and flip it to the other side, which I'll show you in just a second if you don't understand what I mean. Okay, that's the bell for my next class, so I need to show you this real quick. I'm going to constrain these 3. 1, hit apply. I'm going to do 2, hit apply, and I'm going to do 3, and that is all the time I have to show you this. I'm going to hit apply, and now I'm going to demote this part. So let me do that really quickly. So I'm going to click on this part, my bearing flats, hold down control, select all these. I'm going to hit tab, and that'll demote it, and I'm going to call this my upright assembly. So my upright, I'm going to hit OK. Yes, I wanted to make sure I put that in the right folder, which I did not, so I may need to go back and check that later. Now I can hit Control C to copy and Control V to paste, and now I have the 2 uprights there. I can just flip this one around and we will be set. So that is all for this video. Thank you for your time.